earlier, I said that one of the good things about red pill philosophy is that it encourages these guys to like improve themselves. Maybe the ends, the goals are not the best, but like in the process of like trying to sleep with 20 women a month or something, you end up going to the
Mm.
gym. I think that that's really good. It would be problematic if you just said, screw everyone else, screw what everyone thinks of me. I'm never going to shower again because all of my internal value I'm just going to develop within myself, right? That's probably not the way that you want to go. And if you do go that way and you smell terribly, maybe you are capable of becoming these perfectly enlightened people, these like Diogenes people. Like maybe you are capable of that and just like drawing
Yeah.
a lot of internal value from yourself and not caring about other people. Chances are
Mm.
you're not going to get that. You might just like lose your job and you'll get screwed over. And so actually the way that people perceive you does have a very real impact on you. The actual advice here is to try to develop that internal self value within yourself and then use positive pro social behaviors that like improve how people see you as a way to develop that internal value. If you are showering, if you are working out, and you're using those things to develop self-discipline within yourself and to like make yourself a better person, that's going to have the added benefit of also improving how people perceive you. So like earlier you said like it doesn't matter what you are, what matters is how people perceive you. Well, the
Mm.
ideal is that like these things match. So not
Yeah,
only,
yeah, I agree.
yeah, not only are you like this like giga chad courageous person who's muscular and like very self-actualized, you are also actually that person. Or like not only are you perceived that way, but you are actually that person. So I don't think they need to be in contradiction necessarily. And where they are in contradiction, like you have to make some sacrifice to your honor or your self perception to become a better person. I think it's worth making that sacrifice. Yeah. But I think typically they're not in contradiction.
Yeah, I agree. I think we agree on that point. Like the example which I gave was just like it was pretty radical. Generally, if you're a good person, people like pretty generally see you as a good person. Generally, if you're a bad person and like you're fairly obvious about it, people kind of see you as a bad person, right? I
Mhm.
feel like generally these coincide fairly well. And I feel like I agree with the other point you made as well. I don't think that aiming for this like transcendental idea is vacuous. I feel like there's some like real meaning behind it. um, I think you should do both. I think you should, as you said, I think like you should aim to be socially acceptable, somewhat, and you should also aim to like find this level of self-acceptance which is like unwavering and like uninfluenced by other social pressures or like the outside environment like pushing down on you. So I would agree with that. I think our main agreements are just kind of like percentage based, like how much would we incorporate X and how much would we incorporate Y, like into our lives. So I feel like generally we agree.
At least we can both acknowledge the value in both of these like
Yeah, exactly.
aspects.
It's very interesting to like hear about this from other people who like aren't generally in like black pill or incel spaces. But like, what are your general view on like incels or the black pill? Like, what comes to mind when you think about them?
I think they remind me a lot of these trans communities, which are they're very much just like crab pots, where people kind of drag each other down. And so that's like, as an outsider looking in, that's kind of how I perceive them.
Mm. Okay, yeah, I would say like to an extent that is true. I feel like a lot of the different servers and discords and wherever it may be, they are very non-conducive to like people ascending. Like if somebody was to ascend in my server, I'm like pretty happy about that. But in other servers, I found that if people tried to ascending just means like getting a girlfriend, having like social connections, social relationships, like having a well-rounded like life essentially. I find that like in other servers, when people ascend, they're kicked out, they're sort of ostracized, whatever it may be. So yeah, I feel like we would agree to a certain extent on that, but I do also feel that this idea that it's a crab pot isn't necessarily as true because a lot of like self-improvement advice is also perpetuated like in the black pill as well as the red pill. But the black pill understands that like certain people, it's going to sound a bit like fatalistic when I say this, but like to a certain extent, no matter what a certain person does, they'll never be able to get to a certain level, right? I think accepting this sort of like pseudo fatalistic view on reality is really important, and is really it helps you to not like keep your hopes up to an unreasonable level, I would say.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, this is probably going to be controversial for my audience, but like, I think that that is not necessarily a bad approach. And I think that part of the problem in the trans community is a lot of people are sold the idea that like everyone can get to this end state, everyone can
Yeah,
pass, everyone can end up these like beautiful women, and that's not realistic. Like, and in fact, most people are not going to end up that way. And I think that sets a lot of people up for failure, where they're basically like constantly chasing that end goal and they're never going to get to it, and that's just going to eventually down the road result in a lot of suffering for them. So I think it's better if like you accept, okay, I am not going to pass as like a 10 out of 10 gorgeous woman. Maybe I'll be able to pass like, 60-70% of the time. And so setting my expectations reasonably, I can work from there and I can be like, okay, well, I'm going to try to find a community that isn't going to make my life extraordinarily hard as a result of that. That's actually going to like accept me and allow me to like show my value in other ways rather than like pinning my value on my ability to pass. And so I think that like being able to accept these things is actually a very mature and valuable thing, as long as it's not used as like an excuse to rot or to like do nothing. It has to come with like the next step, which is like, okay, I accept this, so I'm going to do other things, and develop other values.
I just asked my chat if they had any questions, and it's all just memes. So, uh, so here's a real one. So, do you think that looks are the main factor when it comes to dating? Would you say that's true?
The main factor,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, definitely is with modern dating.
Okay. So you. Oh, right. Based. Okay. Good. They said they're not memeing, but they are memeing. Someone. Okay. I'm not. Okay. I'm not gonna ask any of these questions. I feel like if you were to be any group, you would probably be fairly close to like a black pillar. Honestly, I feel like you'd be like similar to me. I feel like you'd be similar to me in sort of ideology. Like you're
Mm.
not. I don't want to say pure black pill, but you're black pill to the extent that like if somebody was to debate you on your topics, you would like be able to hold up like a fairly like rigorous argument. Where like a lot of these black pillars who like see themselves as like pure black pillars. That's kind of like a meme on my name, Vanta Black, like the darkest black pill. So they see themselves as like being this like absolute ultimate fatalist. Like if you're not 9 out of 10, it looks it's over for you, all this sort of stuff, right? But then you like ask them like one simple question, and they just kind of like fall down. Their whole argument sort of like falls down. But yeah, I would say like you're pretty black pilled, all things considered. So I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing
Interesting.
or not, but in my
Maybe,
opinion, it's a good thing.
maybe. I'll wear it with a badge of honor, with pride.
Exactly. That's how you got to do it. Based and black pilled.
Nice.
That's how we. That's how it is. Awesome. All right. Yeah, I think those are like the main questions which I had to ask. This has been like a pretty cool discussion which we've had here. I think so.
I
Yeah.
think so. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of discussions with like more, I don't know, men's rights activists or like black pill, red pill type people. I am just like
Yeah.
not in that space. So I think it's
Yeah. Yeah.
interesting to like talk about my own views on like dating and self-improvement and to see like where those fit in and like how people respond to them. I definitely want to talk about it more. So yeah, definitely cool.
Mm. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Yeah. I think that's about it. So yeah. Is there anything else you want to say? Any like closing words, final statement, anything like that?
I don't know. Nothing in particular. Thanks for talking. I
Okay.
appreciate it.
All right. Yeah. Same to you.
Thought it was a lot of fun. All right, you have a good one.
Yeah. All right. Same to you. See you later.
All right, see ya. That was fun. That guy was definitely fun to talk to you.